So it's been a while because I've been in summer school and it's all over now. And like before it started, I watched Europa, directed by Lars von Trier, and I'm just gonna give some quick thoughts about it because I'd like to return more in depth, but I've got other things to catch up on before school starts again. So you should watch it. It's good. And spoiler warning for Europa, Melancholia, and Dogville, all by Lars von Trier. And like the most interesting I find about them in each of them is this hatred of not just idealism, but idealist, like the people specifically. um, and it's idealism is usually characterized as naive and desperately hopeful. They have unrealistic expectations or some kind of reward for their endurance while they're just being continuously punished and abused. They have like little to no self-respect. They don't have a backbone to stand up for themselves or like take like their own standpoint, have a place to stand. And I'd almost say they're at the level of people who believe in mind-body dualism. And in Europa and Dogville specifically, the idealist gives up on idealism and switches to an opposite, ruthless pessimism. So you might expect pessimism to be implicitly endorsed as correct, but it's pretty much just as destructive as the self-deprecating idealism they had. But now it's just directed indiscriminately at the world. It puts the audience in the position where they're unchained from the sun because the lead you expect to be rewarded for their heroism is now morally bankrupt, their suffering is wasted, and hope is only left to tragedy. And it can be emotionally taxing and entirely unsatisfying to watch these movies. So that's where I'm at right now, and I want to get something out of it. And the first thing I think of is the middle ground. So you think of Diotima and Socrates in the Symposium. The midpoint between knowledge and ignorance is correct opinion. The midpoint between having and wanting is love. There's no reason to assume if something isn't ideal, it's just pessimistic, and vice versa. There's no reason to switch between either extreme or paint the world as completely black and white at every quarter. But I think this like nuance that I'm talking about is more present in Europa and Melancholia than Dogville, although there's like a little spark of it in there. So what I think the root is between the extreme idealism and pessimism presented is a denial of the reality in Europa, like the world, like all the shit that's going on. If we're willing to accept what Leopold can't about what's going on, we can easily see Leopold doesn't understand what World War II is and its aftermath, or is just willingly ignoring it for his own sake. We can recognize how he's being manipulated by all the characters around him because they all want something from him, and the movie directly states that. But it's also the same for Leopold. He expects to earn acceptance from everyone as a reward, but by being lukewarm and not taking sides, he is spat out unanimously. Everyone just treats him like shit. And with this rejection, instead of departing from this paradigm of manipulation and expectations, he reciprocates the rejection back towards everyone and everything. And given the ending, we can guess that it cost everyone their lives. So to me, it's a cautionary tale rather than being a purely pessimistic circle jerk like Synecdoche, New York.